product to your target audience. So anyone has any idea of how Linda can get her project to her targeted audience who can contribute in changing the literacy levels? I'm gonna pick on someone. Mandingo. What do you think? Mandingo, can you hear me? Okay. I am going to ask. Okay. I'm going to ask Hakuz Guanipa. How do you think Linda can get her project to the people? And someone's mic is unmuted. We can hear the wind. Hakuz, if you're there, kindly share with us what you think.
I think if there's also somebody that wants to say something, they can raise their hand.
Yes.
Can you get me?
Yes, now I can hear you, Hakuz.
Oh, okay. So it depends with her. It depends with what type of a project she's doing, and like she explained, like it's a documentary. So it depends with what the client wants and on what level are they want to distribute it. Is it for YouTube? Or is it based on the community or what? So from the word go, from the pre-production, from the creation, she needs to understand on what am I doing? This production, I'm doing it for example, what audience am I targeting for this project? So it depends with from the pre-production, from the start of the documentary she's in.
Yes, so you're completely right. Just to let you know, Linda has mentioned that. So let's imagine the scenario where it's not for client, it's her own personal project. And then she has mentioned that the documentary she's doing is targeting areas in Uganda that have very low literacy levels. And she's hoping the impact of it coming forward would be to raise the literacy levels. And she's targeting people who can either are decision makers or policy makers. So with that in mind, Hakuz, how do you think would Linda reach these policy makers, for instance? How do you think?
Okay, that's a very tough one, but
Don't stress. Don't stress. Your initial thought.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe to do like a teaser, or maybe to approach them with some pitch decks or something to explain the overview of the project so that it can get to them.
You are right. And then another thing, does anyone have anything else to say before I jump in? Before I pick, why should I pick on someone else? Richard, can you hear us?
Ever bright. Richard is helping out on the technical part of the session, so you'd excuse him. Yeah, we are just having some technical issues here with the session, so he's trying to help out.
Somebody has already responded. Who is Brian? He can also tell us something.
No, I'm actually working with Richard on the technical issues on the chat that had happened. So
thank you very much.
Give us like 5 minutes and then we get back.
Okay, no problem. So what I would say also, considering that, just building on what Hakus said, thank you very much, by the way, for contributing, is it's very tricky to reach these policymakers. I completely agree with you. So you start looking, resources can be people, human, social, economic, political. You start looking, are there any organizations, NGOs you can partner with that already have access to these people you want to reach? Are there any ongoing initiatives? Are there maybe incoming public social holidays? Do we have something as an education day? Do we? I'm sure there is something. Like, you start looking at the opportunities around you. If you personally, as a filmmaker, you don't have access to these, or you start looking at other filmmakers who have done maybe similar projects, and how do they go about it, or if you can collaborate with them in distributing this. I hope you're starting to see the idea of how having these questions in these processes can help you map out your distribution strategy. Okay, moving on to the next slide. So we're going to building an arc. Guys, are you catching the Bible references here? Please. I'm not getting an applause. Are you catching the Bible references? Building an arc. The key questions to ask yourself here is, what resources do I have access to? There's this podcast I was listening to by this Kenyan filmmaker. They were saying initially when they got started, they needed someone to support them with funding. He needed rich parents, but sadly he's an orphan. But who said the rich parents have to be yours? You just have to find someone with rich parents or a
That's Eugene, eh?
yeah, that's Eugene. Like, where do they have to be yours? So what you start looking at your circle, like, what resources do you have to have access to? You don't necessarily have to have them. What can you access? For instance, I know my good friend Linda Dina here is doing documentary about education. Going down the line, if I ever have a similar project, I will hit her up. I'm like, I did this, maybe I did a similar documentary in Tanzania. I want to, come to Uganda with it. Please show me the ropes. Maybe you have a friend who has a, a relative in politics who can help you get the word around. You start looking at that. Or if you can organize an event, what we usually do, like a premiere curated event, and invite these people, well and good, if you have the access to that. You should ask yourself, what resources can you access? And most importantly, who can support you through this journey? And in this relationship you are entering, is it going to be mutually beneficial to both of you? Meaning, are you going to be solving a problem for them? And are you also going to be achieving what you wanted? Because at the end of the day, guys, this is a transfer. It's a barter trade, for lack of a better word. It's a barter trade. So, and we are all looking to do something, to achieve something. So you need to, people you're approaching, you should have in mind. If you're approaching an NGO, maybe in their vision, mission of the NGO, their goal is maybe to raise literacy levels. Your project is about literacy levels. So you see there is already that synergy right there. So they would fully jump on board and they would fully push your vision further. If you need a break, guys, let me know. Moving on to the next. Also, here it's a matter of budgeting, logistics, crew, and schedules. You start preparing your budget. If you're a producer and maybe budgeting is not your strength, you start looking at co-producers you can jump on board who can help you. You start looking at people who can assist you with logistics, crew, schedules, who can come in, who would bring something that you would want in your project. Then And then now in post-production, which in production actually, sorry, in production, whereby you've spent months planning, you've had, yes, I'll shoot this documentary. It's about literacy. After that, I'll take it to these NGOs. They would support me. Why would they not? And then boom, 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 production happens. Maybe I'm spitting. This is not going to happen. Maybe there's political unrest. What are you going to do? So you start thinking of what challenges are you likely to encounter and how can you overcome them? So because Linda volunteered her project, does anyone else want to volunteer a project, or we go on dissecting Linda's project? Three, two, one.
We'll be glad to have another person from not a documentary point of view. Could be from a short film, could be from a feature film.
Yes. Does anyone want to volunteer a project? It could be past, it could be recent, it could be something you're thinking about. Yes, this will be on YouTube, but you can try to be as vague and as informative as you can be to help us. I'm going to pick on someone. I'm going to pick on Techno C16. Don't tell me that's part of the crew. Techno C16?
It's not.
Okay, Techno C16, please. Can you tell us of a project or an idea of a project or a previous project you have done that we can talk about how you planned it and what challenges you faced?
Maybe as we wait for him, can I say something that I encountered? Still building on my project.
Linda wants us to yes, let's do your work for you.
After this session, I will know how to distribute it.
Let's do your work for you.
Okay.
Yes, what's the challenge? Yeah.
You see, I've done fictional work and I've done now factual work, which would be documentary. But some things I find that is quite complicated with documentaries is you don't know what is going to happen. You're going to write a script, a shooting script. It's not going to come out as you've written, because by the moment you reach on ground, let's say my script says I'm going to talk to a parent, their child, and a teacher. I'll reach on ground. I'll find the child doesn't want to speak anymore. They feel like they don't know how to speak English, or they're not in the mood. The moment the child is not in the mood, you cannot force them. For an adult, you'd be like, please, let's do this. And they'll try to do something. But for a kid, and you find it's like the primary factor, and they cannot say anything. I found that with a disabled child, a child with a disability. We reached there. He was the primary focus. We reached there, and the child ran away from the cameras. He didn't want the cameras to be in front of him. So what we prepared for in pre-production was totally the opposite of what we got in production. So when I'm looking about how I confront my Goliath at that point, I feel like, hey, documentaries, guys, they're not easy.
Yeah, and then with documentaries, I also there are some that are very time sensitive, especially if it's like if it's client work. It's usually very time sensitive. So, for your case, how I would confront that Goliath, assuming this child, as you said, doesn't want the camera on their face. What about audio? Can you do what do you call this, narration, as in could you just record their voice and use that, or is that something that they would also not want to do? And then, or the other thing could be you'd have their parents speak on their behalf, which again could be tricky depending on if the documentary is about a child, yeah, and the more impact. So it could be, you could do an audio, you could record the audio if that is something the child will be open to, or you could have, or if it's a matter of shyness, you could do shots with them and their parents, like they could do the interviews with their parents sat next to them. Or for worst case scenario, you'd have the parents speak on their behalf, which if it's which if your project is about literacy levels, you could also light it in the way that um how do I phrase this? Perhaps it's more than just literacy. Literacy, it could be, if this place, for instance, maybe doesn't have a huge number of children going to a certain school. If they're public schools and you don't have a lot of children going to it, maybe because of the lack of resources. So these children who are going into these schools lack certain life skills, such as confidence, because they're not used to interacting with a lot of people. You could find a way to phrase it that works on your main goal. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. 'Cause, what you're saying is actually something. One of them is what we actually did. The mother
Yeah.
narrating on behalf of talking on behalf of the child.
Yes. It could be that, or it could be worst case scenario also. You postpone the shoot. You do other research. You find another child. Worst case, really worst case scenario. But moving on. So, in terms of also distribution and marketing your film, if your main story has changed, you initially envisioned interviewing the child and then now you have the mother, you also have to change your distribution strategy, by the way. So now it could be, instead of angling it on the children, you could angle it on maybe parents being crucial figures in a child's early development and educational life, and how their presence or absence can impact that. Are you seeing how that can change depending on actually what you go through in production?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Okay, moving on to the next. So there is the resurrection. I'm sure most of you know of this phrase. You shall fix it in post, guys. No, don't do that, or else you'll have your editor like that little thing I have, that little stick man. So you have had this plan, you've had production, you faced your challenges, and you have what you have. So now you're piecing the pieces together. What is your final vision going to be like after you've rolled with the punches? And the other question is, are you really done? In the instance whereby, if your main goal, your main vision from the beginning of the project was to talk about education levels, what to talk about literacy, and then you have shot all this content and it's still not hitting the message home. Are you really done? Here comes the question of reshoots, which we hate, or completely altering the vision, which is also, yeah, it's also a thing that can happen. So I hope you're seeing that in every stage you keep on
Everbright,
rising. Yes.
excuse me, sorry for bumping in. There's a question here from someone joining from YouTube. It's called Float Africa. From Tanzania is asking, okay, I think he was complimenting on something that you had said earlier. Is saying currently he's working on his documentary, The Last Reef, a symphony on silence. This documentary tells a story through a coral reef perspective. So I don't know what he meant by this. Maybe I think he was trying to submit. Maybe when asked if there someone else wanted to submit. and this is what he submitted.
Can you drop this on the chat so I can see?
Yeah, Linda's going to share the question there.
Okay, yeah. If you are shy to speak and you have a question as I'm speaking, feel free to drop it in the chat. Feel free. I'll be waiting for that message as we go on. But yes, I hope you're seeing that as every stage of production goes, you're still altering your distribution strategy depending on what you have. Because let's face it, expectation, reality, it's very hard. They balance each other. It's either you expect the worst and the best happens, or you expect the best and the worst happens, or you know. Moving on to the Pentecost. So now you are done with the film. You're fully done with the post. You have your trailer. You have the final product. You have your posters. You have your teasers. You have your subtitles. Now the question comes into, how are you going to let people know of the awesome work you did? And most importantly, how are you going to let them know? And are you reaching the right people, for instance? And then, this last question, we'll talk about it. So I'm going to pick on Grace Wangoy. Grace Wangoy, hello. Can you hear me? Grace Wangoy, or anyone else who volunteers? Fred, are you off the train? Ah, shoot. Okay. Did Mandingo speak? I commute far. Eh, safe travels, safe travels. Okay, Grace Wangoy, wherever you are. While we're waiting for Grace, Aino Mujuni.
Yes.
Abraham. Oh, hi Grace, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Were you here for most of the session?
Yep.
Yes, so using Linda's project that she volunteered, how do you think she would let people let people find out of the awesome work that she has done? She's done with post-production, she has her final documentary, she has her posters, her subtitles. How do you think she would tell people, she would show off, get the bragging rights off the top of your head? Grace? Hello? Okay. While we're waiting for Grace to come back in, Abraham Aino Mujuni. Abraham, can you hear me? Do you mind jumping in to answer the question?
Could you pardon me on the question again?
Okay, no problem. I said, we have talked about Linda's project, the documentary.
Yeah.
So in this scenario, she's done shooting, she's done the post-production, the film is done. Now we know that her target audience are policymakers and are people who can contribute in one way or another to change the education system. So in terms of marketing, not distribution, in terms of marketing the film, by marketing is you let people know that you have something that is for them.
Yeah.
How do you think she would approach this?
Now the challenge, the target audience is also complicated for me to actually reach. But I believe in utilizing social media a lot personally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now there comes the challenge of the audience.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't know
So
how I
I'm
can reach that target.
audience. Yeah, it's a very tricky one.
Yeah.
Do you have a project? Do you have a project towards yourself?
Currently I haven't done film. I'm learning, but
Ah,
I'm run
okay.
yeah, yeah. But I'm running a social media platform. So I usually
Mm-hmm.
work with creators, businesses, and so on. So I have some sense in marketing, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
I like that you've spoken about social media because social media in East Africa is really big. I'm going to
Mm.
say East Africa because I can't speak of the other places, but it's really big for the reason that number one, our youth population is encompasses 70% of the total population, and two, smartphone mobile penetration is really big also here in Tanzania. So, since Linda's project is a bit challenging in terms of audience, eh, okay, I was reading this Float Africa. Pause on that. Let me think of a film. Okay, let's say it's a fiction film. It's about an athlete, a football player, okay? And this football player maybe was really at the height of his career and then got an injury, got depressed, and now is trying to find, life after that has happened. So, Abraham, first of all, who would you think is the target audience for such a film or such a concept?
I feel it has a wide scope.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it could even actually attract a number of sports fans. But then I think you have specified after production and so on.
Yes. So you've had this we've shot this film about this football player who was really
Mm,
at the height of his career, got an injury, retired,
mm,
and maybe now
mm.
is making a living as a taxi driver.
Oh, okay.
So that's you have that film. You've already shot it. It's done in
Yeah.
post. It's like that.
Mm,
You can, as you said, the audience is pretty wide, but I'm
mm.
going to ask you to focus on one group. So you can choose the group you want to focus in. Like, what audience would you target if this is your film?
Mm. It's tough, honestly. Let me see.
Don't overthink it. Trust me. Don't
Yeah.
overthink it. It's a football. It's about a football player
Mm.
got an injury, retired from football. Now he's a taxi driver, and he's figuring out life after that. Immediate audience that comes into mind.
Sports fans
Anyone
and
else?
guys looking for sports fans and guys looking for underdog stories, maybe.
Yes, precisely. But up in sports fan, I'll be very specific. I would
Yeah.
narrow down on athletes, especially athletes who have suffered injuries.
Mm.
And then I would also say health practitioners, health wellness practitioners. And then also, yeah, as you said, underdogs. So I'm not done with you, Abraham. Don't mute your mic. Let's have a discussion. Don't overthink. So you've said yourself, sports fan, retired athletes, health practitioners, and people who are obsessed with underdog stories. So
Mm.
social media, I love that.
Mm.
How? Oh, let me start. Which social media platform would you use to promote this film?
Well, let me see. Currently, Now, like in Uganda, I think the most active is TikTok. And I
Yes.
would
Okay.
think
So.
of partnering with older sports players. You can get someone like Onyango maybe, and you
Mm-hmm.
work together to push the movie.
Mm-hmm. And
Yeah.
then on that, I'm going to thank you, Grace. I've seen your response, sports enthusiast. So, if you're going to, why would you partner with Onyango? What is the purpose? What is the reasoning behind that?
Well, I'm relating it to the theme behind the story,
Mm-hmm.
because he would be a perfect fit as a veteran player. Okay, he's not a perfect fit because he retired in a stable manner. You would get someone that really fell out of football but was loved before, to create that
Mm-hmm.
emotional appeal to the people that want to come and watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really love what you said there.
Yeah.
Clock it. Yes,
Hmm.
you have talked about emotional appeal, which is good because now you know you'll be reaching the right people who are
Hmm.
the sports enthusiasts, the athletes, and people who are just fans of underdog stories, and also an additional audience of the fans of this person, as you've spoken about.
Yeah.
You know, if this is something you had in mind since development of the project, you could even think about casting this person
Yeah.
to actually
Yeah.
play the role. So
Hmm.
from the beginning, you're already sharing teasers. You're already posting on TikTok. People are ingesting.
Hmm.
Are you catching are you catching the drift right there?
Yeah.
And then to the money question, which I am posing to all of us in here, whether you're a beginning filmmaker, whether you're practicing, whether you've been in the game for a minute. The thing, as in the introduction, Linda has said, I've had the opportunity to go and see how films are distributed in Europe, to be specific, Germany. I have seen one thing, again, this is an industry, guys, that has existed for 70 plus years. And the East African film industry, collectively, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Ethiopia is a bit older. Our industry has existed for 30 to 35 years. We're in a situation whereby we do not have infrastructures like set formal infrastructures. Let's say what happens in Germany, for instance, as you are in post, you get a distributor in your country of origin. So if it's a German production, you get a German distributor. You get a world sales agent. A world sales agent is the one who sells, the film in other territories apart from Germany, where you already have distributors. So the sales agent sells your film to other distributors in other territories, depending on where, they see fit, where it's marketable. And then from there, they have cinemas left, right, front, and center. And we all know we have very few cinemas in our countries. So as you can see, they already have a system that has been working for 70 plus years, and it works for them, and it's something that they can monetize on. For us, it's not that we don't have a system. We do have a system, but we are not taking advantage of it. Or we are most of the times we are trying to adapt to this system that is has been there for a minute while our industry is young. Also, another thing to consider is most of the Europe population, it's upside down, meaning there are few youth and more, what do you call them, elderly people. Where in Africa, dare I say East Africa, it's the opposite. We have more youth than we have the elderly people. So by that, there's already differences in social behaviors. There's differences in economic economic levels, so, and also there's also one thing also that is very funny that it's actually a factor. It's also the weather. They have 4 seasons: winter, autumn, summer, etc., etc. We are blessed with sunshine throughout the years, with rains that can kill you and drown you, but overall, all year round, we have good weather. So in that sense, and we also have really great films, and we have uh, a population of more than 200 million people. How can we monetize these infrastructures? An example of an infrastructure that already exists, and we all know about this, is the video halls, the chibandas, the vibandas, the vibanda umizas, the VJs, who are ready for their pirating content, sadly, but they have these halls where you can sit 20 to 30 people and they can watch a film that has been dubbed with them. How can we monetize such infrastructures? For instance, we also have public transportation systems, matatus, daladalas, that have screens. In Tanzania, we even have tuk-tuks with screens in there that are playing music mostly. How can we, as the current filmmakers, leverage on the existing informal, for lack of a better word, informal infrastructures to our advantage to market our films? How do you think we can do this? I've spoken a lot. Who am I picking on next? Kabogoza. It's more than 5 minutes. Tell us your thoughts.
Kindly pardon the question.
Yes.
Pardon the question,
You,
I respond.
I repeat the question.
Yeah.
Okay, I said how. Can you mute your mic for a little bit? For a little bit. You or is it Mandingo? Okay. My question was, how can we monetize the current existing informal infrastructures we have? For example, the matatus, daladalas that have screens and are playing music videos, or the chibandas, the video halls that you have the VJs speaking. How can you use that to market your film? Or most importantly, how can you monetize that? If you have an answer apart from Kabogoza, who I've picked on, feel free to drop it in the chat as well. That applies to you too, Fred. Feel free to drop your idea on the chat.
I
Yes,
think there's someone who wants to respond. Mandigo.
Mandingo, yes. And then after Mandingo, I see Linda has raised her hand.
Okay. Yes, hello.
Hello.
At least I've been listening and come up with ideas that at least I understand what was this meeting was about. In the issue of distribution or monetize or using available infrastructure, first of all, I want to say that this kind of documentaries or films, there has been the problem over a long period of time, the issue of literacy, the issue of disabled people or people with disabilities. Everyone who wants to come up with documentary idea come with those kind of ideas. Maybe it's like because it's so messy when you see it, it becomes so sad. But the issue is there is kind of idea you don't have to looking for vibanda umiza or to show them on the buses or those daladala. There is kind of ideas very special. They can sell themselves, for example. What happen if someone come up with a documentary idea about 5 reasons why men cheat, or 10 reasons why men cheat? People don't talk about such idea, but that kind of idea, if someone saw it on social media, 5 reasons why men cheat, it's a documentary, there is maybe the interviews of men express the reason why they cheat. That kind of interview, a lot of people, they are going to watch it, even though you don't have to go to the banda umiza, because people's on those local cinemas like banda umiza, they may watch Hollywood movies, Bollywood movies. They watch always what's famous out there. So
Yeah.
first of all, the issue of ideas. There is a lot of ideas that can sell themselves. You don't have to
Yeah.
looking for NGOs, or you don't have to look about the issue of sponsors. So first of all, if you want to monetize, if you want to create beautiful documentaries or beautiful films which can sell themselves, is if at
Yeah.
least we change the concept of the issue of ideas, because the issue of literacy has been the war since the OAU Union. After we get independence, the government has been fighting with this kind of issues. East Africa community itself has been fighting of these issues. So when you come up with idea like this, it's become very difficult to defend. But there is current problems. When you change an idea of documentary, you're going to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
say, yeah, that is.
Okay. Thank you for the feedback, Mandingo. I like what you've said. Also, the issue you spoke about first in ideas, that
Mm.
yes, we have things that have existed for a very long time, but they have been done by different people. And if you're tackling it, what is it? What part of it are you trying to address? Which should be very unique. And this goes back to, in the first slide, we talk about the why are you doing this? So, and then the issue, I have to disagree with you there just a little bit, that yes, we have this notion that something can sell, like a good film can sell itself. I do not completely agree with that, because, especially looking at our current times, where there is an overflow of content left, right, front, center, whereby anyone can just pick up their phone, shoot a series, shoot a short film, and distribute it on YouTube. That there is already so much noise, which might make it harder for your audience to reach your content. What we are trying to discuss here, using your same example, Mandingo, of 5 reasons why men cheat, who would want to watch this film or this documentary or this short film, whatever it is? Of course, it's people who have been cheated on, female specifically, right? Mandingo. Mandingo. Hello? You can't disappear, and you have
He's
just
thinking about your
made this
argument.
discussion.
He's thinking.
I will mute my
He's
mic.
made this discussion very interesting, and you can't
Yeah,
turn
yeah.
away now.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yes. Do you agree with me that the people who would
Yeah.
want to watch this would be people who have been cheated on, right?
All peoples, all people.
All people. But who
Yeah.
will take it here? Yes, all people can watch this. I agree with you, except children, of course. But who will it impact more? Who would relate more to your content?
Teenagers.
Teenagers, but you could say people who have been cheated on as well, right?
Oh,
I just
because
Mm. If I was cheated on Mandingo, and there is a and this is like fresh, this happened today, I would want, and I go to YouTube, or I see an ad like boom, 5 reasons why men cheat, because of what has happened to me today, that my boyfriend, my significant other has cheated on me. I would immediately click on that. You get?
okay,
Why?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
it relates with what I have already gone through. I can already connect to it, right?
Yeah.
You, if you're having a very good day, okay,
Yes.
you've gotten an M-Pesa, Airtel Money, mobile money transfer notification.
Hmm.
Your significant other is chilling on the side. You know, you're sipping a little drink, you're Netflix and chilling. And then this notification pops up in your phone. 5 reasons why men cheat. Would you watch it in that situation?
Yeah, that's is very, very, very interesting. Why do they cheat? Why? If someone is not maybe heartbroken, at least it
Mm,
can click so as to
mm,
learn. Is there a reason? Maybe if I know those reasons, maybe I can
yeah.
handle my own man. That should not be all 5 reasons why men cheat. There can be
Mm-hmm,
5 reasons why women cheat. So when a man
mm,
saw something like that, they say, "Oh, maybe if I know the reasons before, I may, I may solve something." As you know, King Kanibora kuliko tiba. So it may touch a
yes.
lot of people.
Yes. So you're in your sentences, I love how you're also identifying your target audiences. You've talked
Mm.
about people, teenagers who are in that age where they can get into relationships or are
Yes,
at least curious about relationships. Indio.
yes,
Yes. So in that context, okay, you want to reach Ever Bright. You know, you want to reach me. I have Hollywood films that have, you know, marketing budgets from here to Timbuktu. I have,
mm,
I don't know what is happening politically in the country, Tanzania right now. I have my responsibilities as a human being
mm.
there. How
Yeah.
do you as a filmmaker ensure that your content reaches me? How would you do it? How would you do it, for instance, with this content on why people cheat?
Okay. You know,
How
I,
would you make sure that you catch my attention? Apart from the very interesting context of it, how would
yes.
you make sure that you catch my attention? The topic, the point is very interesting. Because I've seen your hand, I am going to get to you in a minute.
Mm.
But how would you, and people feel free to drop your ideas as well from Mandingo's example in the chat on how would Mandingo catch the attention of someone who's bombarded with things left, right, front, center, marketing wise.
Okay. First of all, I would
Mm-hmm.
like to say I'm I'm a film student here in Tanzania. And last
Mm-hmm.
month, I always watch movie according to target. I was watching the documentaries about the greatest people on the earth, Muhammad Ali, Pele,
Yeah.
Ronaldinho, a lot of people. I've been watching a lot of documentaries, and
Mm-hmm.
I learn a lot of things. But here at University of
Mm-hmm.
Dar es Salaam, there is always the showcasing of the film, and some students
Yeah.
make documentaries film. But guess what?
Yes.
When those
What?
documentaries are displayed, people are
Mm-hmm.
not interested. There is someone who showed a documentary about those who pick up the bottles on the street, documentaries about people with disabilities who can see very well, who are
Yeah.
found here within our university. But those kind of documentaries, uh,
Mm-hmm.
people does not give them attention. It's not because maybe the documentary is too bad, maybe because the way they're presenting it, or maybe the problem or the issue that they are talking about has no direct connection with kind of people that we are showing that kind of movies. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, Elaine, if we want to create the great documentaries, if our target audience is young, you know, young people, young generation, there is kind of topic we have to touch, because the way you create your documentary, the way it's going to be difficult to distribute it. For example, if someone want to distribute the documentary about his literacy rate, so people can't write or people can't read. How do I reach them? Maybe you're going to schools. There is in every school there is a day of sport and games. What if you communicate with the certain schools that during the sport day You may display your documentaries. Instead of student goes to the pitch, they watch that documentaries about literacy rate, the important or disadvantage of the people who can light or who cannot light. But if that student, after they finish watching the films, they go into their home. So you as a filmmaker, maybe you want to reach the people who can't write, or people who cannot write or cannot read, but you showcase it on the school. The people there watching, and remember, they are the schools, they learn writing and they learn reading, but the people who can write or the people who cannot read may found on the street. So it's a big problem, because you have two. Maybe if you have create a YouTube channel which you are going to showcase your documentary, you prepare those vipeperushis, distribute to all students, so that when they go back home, they distribute to the peoples who cannot even read or cannot even write. You know, do you see that process? It's because the kind of audience we want to reach. But if we want to documentary to be a success and sell itself, as I say, if its target audience is teenagers or the youngs, we should touch them directly to the problems that they have been facing. And maybe if we provide a solution, or we can give them awareness. That's why I propose that topic of 5 reasons why men cheat, because it's a kind of a topic that can solve can solve a problem, because the issue of what broken has been a big problem to nowadays. That's why I propose it maksudically, intentionally, so as to
Yeah.
yeah.
Mandingo, who broke your heart?
Yes, release the documentary. We need to watch it now. From what I've
Please,
gotten,
please.
from what
I
I've
was
gotten
gonna
from
read.
what it's saying,
Wait,
from
wait, 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 Linda.
eh,
Before there are some chats I see here. Fred has written, Mandingo, can you mute your mic? I feel like you're outside and we can hear the wind. So Fred has written, collaborate with. Oh, so Fred is responding to Mandingo's idea about, the documentary about cheating. Collaborate with influencers and go on interviews talking about cheating. Maybe find a podcast that already has followers. That is brilliant, by the way. If you, especially with influencers, you're already tapping into their audience. But again, with influencers, you have to look, are they in a stable relationship? If they're in a stable relationship and your documentary is about cheating, hey, you're contradicting yourself. I love that you have tapped on podcast that already has followers. If I'm sure we all have those podcast, lifestyle podcasts, and once in a month or once in a year, once in a bit, they're like, oh, men are trash. And then you sprinkle your documentary there as well. That would work really good. Fred, Abraham has said, I highly agree with Everbright. There are good movies internationally that perform poorly because they had limited marketing, and yet some bad blockbusters make with good publicity. So it's not just about it's not just about the story, it's about how you push it. And Mandingo has also hinted on this in his talk, whereby you made a documentary talking about literacy, about people who can't read and write, and then you're showcasing it in a university, which is like the highest level of education. It's not correlating. It's not making sense. So this is why it's very important. I hope in this back and forth, you're seeing it's very important to know who your audience is. Know where your audience is. What do they do for a living? How much do they earn? Where do they go to when they're relaxing? So that you can tap onto that. As Mandingo has also said, if you're going to play a literacy documentary before a football match, first of all, people are just going to walk out. They're going to use that moment to go get drinks and popcorns, and then, come back after your thing has ended to watch the game. But let's say if this was that feature film about a retired athlete playing before a football match, or before, you see, that would have a more oomph than you playing a documentary about literacy. And Linda, you wanted to say something? to summarize. Phil.
No, to summarize, I wanted to add into Mandino's point. Maybe to could be on the other side, the opposite side, but still builds on his point. You see what
Yes.
those who are talking about the blockbusters, why they sell, even though they're not that good, but they still sell, because for them they create this FOMO in us, a fear of missing out. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Wicked, but I really look forward to watching Wicked because of what it's doing on social media. They're not showing us what the teaser is about or the trailer, but they're showing us the life of these people who acted in it, the interviews, their lifestyle, how they're leading their lives immediately after Wicked. So I'm quite curious to know what happened in that show that made these people look this certain way. That is the fear of missing out that they've inflicted into us. I feel like I need to watch it like right now, and I don't have to miss it out. So if we do the same thing for ourselves, even using the example of the Athlete film that we are talking about, let's interview these people, the cast, the lead cast. Let's talk to them. Let's create FOMO about the film, even if it's not just trailers, the teasers. Let's talk about it. Let's put it into people's faces. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. And then also I'm going to hint on funding as well, because I feel like we haven't talked about funding. Guys. Yeah, I'm going to hint on funding as well. Once let's say
Eva
in the
B,
film
also
about
to remind you, we have 40 minutes remaining. So what's the next
no,
question?
give us more time. Give us more time. Anywho, talking
Also,
about funding, I'm going to
there's somebody on YouTube. She's called Ami. She said, honestly, the ideas seem easier to find, but when it comes to applying them, the applicability, it's too much things that are required. That's what she's saying. So maybe you also talk about that.
ideas of what? Of film, of
Like you see how
marketing.
we have an idea of the film now, but to put it into action, to actually do it, she feels like it requires a lot. So it's either she feels like I cannot manage, I cannot do this.
Yes, it is a lot. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you that it's easy work. You wake up, you have this idea, it's good. No, it's not easy. And this goes to another personal opinion I have myself as Evan Bright, that producers, there are people called impact producers. These people you approach, well, impact producers mainly for documentaries, or try having who, like how you have crew, you have the DP for your composition, your shots, your cinematography, and you have your production designer for the sets and all that. Try have someone apart from yourself who can now jump into marketing as well. You can have your initial idea of what you would want, but try having someone else, or if the budget allows, a team that can jump in here and also work with you on that and spearhead that. And that is also another thing I was gonna say. This whole filmmaking process takes a village, guys. Do not be the person who wants to hog on so many things, because you are going to get overwhelmed. You're not going to do a good job in most of them. One is going to be good, but you're going to drop the ball somewhere else. So this goes back to finding who can better execute what you have in mind, or improvise or improve on it as well. So it is a lot of work, but do not be discouraged, to be honest. That is why we are having chats and spaces like this, where we are figuring out what to do moving forward. I hope that has answered. I even forgot what. Yes, I was talking about funding. So funding as well. From the example of the story, maybe for scandalous reasons, I'm going to go with Mandingo's example. Why men cheat? Maybe you could partner up with a condom company. Why? So, for instance, maybe one of the reasons they cheat is for the thrill. Maybe. I don't know why they cheat. I'm not a man. Please do not hold what I'm saying against me, but maybe one of the reasons they're cheating is because of the thrill, because maybe of, wanting an exciting sex life. So you, as a producer, as a filmmaker, you're like, but, we have to be safe. So what if I make a documentary about this and I partner up with a condom company that can either pull in some fund for your project to support an aspect, whether it's the distribution, whether it's the marketing, and yeah, your film is out there, their product is out there, it's getting sold, it's mutually beneficial, and you also as a filmmaker is you are earning something from it. Or something we're seeing pretty much a lot right now is influencers. What influencers are doing, they partner up with a brand. For instance, makeup influencers, they partner up with a brand, they use their products, they do videos about them, and then in exchange they either get the products themselves plus some payment or something else. So now imagine that in a scale of a film. Where do you see different partners coming in and chipping in your project to make sense? But this is also depending on the project you're having. And also, I think we all know that with every project comes different challenges. No matter how long you've done this, no matter if you've started, every project is like you're starting from the ground up, moving forward. So you should always have that constant thought in your mind, like, how can you monetize this? Now we're going to move on because Linda has rushed me. And then Revelation, the legacy. Now, after you've done this, you've done the marketing, it's 1 or 2 years down the line as an indie filmmaker, you evaluate, like, did you achieve the goals you wanted with the project? And how can you lay the groundwork for your future projects that are upcoming? Would you want to continue doing projects focusing on a certain line? Would you want to do projects if you've done 5 reasons why women cheat? Will that be a second project you tackle or not? Or you would go to something else? You see what I'm saying? So you look at how each project can build you or build the connecting project you're going to have after that. If there's any question, feel free to drop it in the chat. And Linda, let me know if anyone from YouTube has said anything. Moving forward. So what I wanted us to do was, Linda mentioned that I do have a film in a distribution platform called Showmax. It's called Deadbeat. So I'm trying to see, but I feel like we've done this already. We've done this in the different examples. I put this here so that we could answer some of the questions we have been asking ourselves, like, how are we going to fund this film? How are we going to distribute it? And how are we going to market it? So, should we proceed with this, or should we talk about other projects? The name is called Deadbeat. Deadbeat Mandingo. Deadbeat. Deadbeat. Okay, so Deadbeat is a feature film that I produced, and it was released early on this year in February. It's a feature film, it's a dark comedy. Its themes cut across culture, loss, family pressure, and East African tradition. So this is a synopsis of the story. Deadbeat follows Nick Irungu, a young professional whose life spirals after the death of his estranged father, Michael. At a chaotic funeral where the casket literally falls apart, Nick is thrust into a whirlwind of unresolved family drama, discovering a mountain of debts, property disputes, and estranged half-siblings, including Washera, a DJ from Michael's second family. Nick embarks on a darkly comedic journey to bury a man he barely knew. Amid cultural pressures and professional challenges, including a make-or-break business pitch, Nick's frustrations mount. However, Through his shared struggles with Washera and the extended family, Nick begins to reconcile with his resentment, and the burial becomes a moment of catharsis, teaching him the value of forgiveness and unity. So, Deadbeat is a sharp, humorous exploration of family, legacy, and letting go. This is the synopsis of the story. So, from this, I would want us to figure it out. What do we want with such a story? What would we want to achieve with such a story? Abraham? Wait, I see there are new people. But Abraham, answer. What would we want to achieve with such a story? We make something up. Okay, Abraham, I think, is a bit far. I'm going to go to an Ariane. Ariane, what do you think we would want to achieve with the story?
Hello, my name is Ariane from Uganda.
Hi.
So I think in terms of marketing and distribution, obviously we would want to achieve or would want the movie to reach as much of an audience as it can, because first of all, the themes that are in the movie can relate to anyone, because everyone has a family, so anyone can be the target audience. So we would want the film to reach as many people as it can.
Okay. And would we want them to just watch it and go on with their day? Would we want them to be educated? Would we want them to be entertained? Would we want them to do a dance challenge after?
Surely educated, entertained, and if they can do not a dance challenge, surely, but maybe if they can do a challenge or like post something about the movie after, it can also help to push the movie to more people.
Okay. So, in regards of what we want, what do we need to do as the filmmakers? What do we this remember, this is just in the early, we have had this idea. I am a filmmaker. I've come to you with this idea, okay? You're helping me with marketing and distributing it. So, from this chat we have had, I think you joined in a bit later, but I'm not sure. But what do you think would we need to do together to be able to, as you said, convince people to post something about it, educate and entertain them in a marketing and distributing perspective?
As we see these days, people use social media for that. So even when we are planning to do the movie, even before we do the movie, I feel like we can create content that is following the trends that are going on social media. Because if something is trending and then we are marketing the movie in that way, it will attract more people to watch it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So you have mentioned that social media is a big tool that we are going to use. That kind of answered the following question of how do we do it? And then I feel like, oh, wait, I'm going to, who hasn't spoken? Benji Nze. Who is my audience? Who is our audience? Ariane has
We're here.
has, hello, hey. So
Hello.
Ariane has, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So Ariane has said that this film can relate to a number of people, anyone with, a family. But what audience are we narrowing down to? Who is our primary audience? Did you say?
Obulungu. Obulungu.
Yes? Yes?
No, you can complete, then I'll say something later. You can complete, then I'll say something later.
I can what?
You can complete what you're saying, then I'll say something.
Oh no, I was asking you a question. Like Ariane has mentioned why base of an audience. Anyone with a family, everyone here has a family, by blood, by choice, whatever. But if we are to narrow down to one specific audience, who are we choosing? Who would you choose? We go with here for the story I've just shown you.
Maybe he joined in later after I had shown the description.
I should answer.
Yes. Were you here when I read the synopsis?
Yeah, I was trying to listen though.
I cannot hear you. Okay. I think
Yeah, I was listening though. I was being disturbed by my network. My network was a bit poor. Okay.
Okay, so no problem. Anyone who has heard the synopsis and can tell us what audience are we narrowing down to? While we're thinking of that, okay, somebody has mentioned we go back to the synopsis page. While we're thinking of what audience we are narrowing to, think about how do we reach them and do we need support reaching them? While I go back to this page so that you can read what the story is about. We think about who is our audience, how do we reach them, and do we need support reaching them? And I'm going to pick on there was someone called Cohen here. Richard. Technical difficulties. I hope they have resolved. Can you share what you think on who is the audience and how would we reach them?
Do I chip in with my peace of mind, or Richard is ready?
Richard has just unmuted. In between his response, you have passed that out.
Richard, are you coming through?
Okay. Before Linda, you chip in. You've talked a lot. Elizabeth, welcome back.
In the middle of my content, why are you passing around?
I have to pass around. You have talked to me. We talk so much offline. Let us talk to other people, please. Elizabeth, if you don't mind, can you come in and share what audience do you think we should narrow down to, and how would we reach them? How would we market this to them, the film? Oh, you're in transit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Joy Liz? Joy Liz? Can you chip in? Okay, Linda, I guess it's destiny.
Hey, my place was meant to be. Looking at this, even though we are looking at family, but to go deeper into family, I think our audiences, we're looking at individuals with difficult family relationships. I think that's our major target audience.
Can you come again?
We're looking at individuals with difficult family relationships.
Dead cold, deep cold, what?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I'm saying we're looking at individuals with difficult family relationships.
What are difficult family relationships? Can you expound that a bit?
Like, you see how you're looking at father and son. This is the deadbeat father that we are talking about. If I'm telling this story, I'm looking at people who are going through the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking at a major, or I'm not general audience. I'm not looking at nuclear families that are in well-to-do relationships. I'm looking at relationships between parents and children that have broken. Those are my immediate people that I think about when I'm creating such a story.
Okay. And do you know where I would find these people with difficult family relationships? Fred is active on chat. Haha, big mistake. Tell us. Where would we find such people and how would we reach them? Or how
Using,
can we reach them?
you see,
Yes. Oh, Linda,
these
you can.
people, these people that we are talking about, even to look at the technology evolution over time, everyone is on their phones. So I'm looking at platforms, at streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm.
For example, Showmax, where it is already, it's a streaming platform. I know somebody is going to be watching through Showmax and they'll find this something that talks to them and they'll watch it.
Mm-hmm. Great. Mm-hmm. Why are we not going at where will we find them in Africa? Oh my god, a dark thought crossed my mind. Hey,
Fred has told you,
guys.
let's go to the clubs. Let's find these people. They are facing their problems beer to beer. Let's meet them there.
Yes. So do we actually very interesting, really, really interesting idea. My very dark thought, guys, please bear with me. I was like, let's go to orphanages. But anyway, no. We don't have foster care systems here. But yeah, we're going to the club because people think that is the solution to that. So do we?
Also,
So,
Everby,
uh,
Everbright, I'm thinking
yes,
about, you see how this month was Men's Mental Health Month?
yes,
So
yes.
if we released it like right now, it is something that would sell. It's seasonal. It's seasonal things. Like you said, if it's something about education, let's wait for like education days, those days when we're celebrating. Now that we have such months, men's mental health, women's mental health months, like I think it would speak better through those seasonal moments, especially when that moment is about that issue that we are talking about.
We have Fred has just said it's a comedy. And what's wrong with playing a comedy on a men's mental month? Men's mental health awareness month. Because I feel like most actually comedy in terms of Tanzania, I don't know about any other places. We actually tackle very serious issues with comedy, with satire. So I feel like yes, if it's about let's say this character in the film does go to a club and it's a comedy, we can, segment it as Linda said, target its release on men's mental health awareness month, which is already a bonus to us because this guy is already you're dealing with losing your father who abandoned you. You're meeting a sister you've never met, so it's a lot. And then Elizabeth has said she agrees targeting a particular season or celebrated day draws more attention. Very good. So now we already know how we're going to reach them. So do we need support? Would we need support to reach these people? Or it's something, and if yes, support, I would say if it's a streaming platform, of course, you, as Linda proposed in the beginning, if it's a streaming platform, you would need to be in a contract with them. And that means you need to have pitched this project a few in while it was in development, and either it's commissioned, half commissioned, depends on the agreement you land on. and then yeah, it's on the streaming platform. But if it's like Men's Mental Health Awareness Month and you're targeting that specific month, you could partner up with, I don't know, organizations or people who are passionate about this. Or you could even cast, if in the film, you could even cast people who are very vocal about mental health, men's mental health. Are you seeing the wide way we can approach this? I'm sorry, I need to start rushing because we have 15 minutes. And then, so you identify who can support us. And then the question of the day is, how do we convince them to jump on board? And by jumping on board, guys, that is just a politically correct way of saying they will fund this film or they would provide money's worth for this film. If it's a distributor, the distributor is willing to take on your film and put it in cinemas. If it's a film festival, they're willing to screen this film. If it's streaming platform, it needs to be there. How do we convince them to join in? This goes back to what we were talking about having something tangible or a proven track record. What have you done before that has worked? So that's your track record. Have something tangible so that, in this case, it could be a pitch deck in development whereby they can see what you're envisioning and they can also see if it aligns with their goals and their motivation, and hence they can jump on board. And then at the end of the day, you need to question yourself on what are the mutual benefits. You need to assess and you need to move on to the next project. We are rushing. And then I think now I was going to tell you on how we actually got this done very quickly. So this project was pitched last year in March. It was pitched in March, April, and then it went through development after it was picked up, it went through development between March and August. That includes scripting and financing. I hope we all know how you can get your film financed. Do we know that? Do I need to touch on that quickly before we get on that? But in terms of this specific project that I've just shown you, the financing was a full commission. So that means they do provide you with the full budget of the project to execute the project. After that, we went into pre-production, which was September 2024. This is getting together the logistics, the schedules, the crew, putting everything together. It was shot in Kenya, Nairobi in October. And then the post-production happened between Kenya and Uganda between November and January 2025. By post-production, I'm talking about picture edit, I'm talking about sound as well. Our sound designers, Linda Dina and Agola Simon, are Ugandan and they're based there. That's why the post-production spanned between the two countries. Also, actually, our editor, coming to think of it. And then, because it was a commission project for this broadcaster, they went through this thing called quality control and final checks, where now you your assets. Your assets are different depending on where you're taking your project. The subtitles, the film quality, the aspects to see if it matches with their platform, that the platform that they're going to upload it in. And at the end of the day, they did distribute it in Maisha Magic and Showmax in February 2025. However, on the side, sadly, I am going to confess that as we were working on this project, little did we think about marketing, because it was a full commission project. So we knew where it was going to go. So we didn't really think on how to push people there. we did have efforts of, posting it on statuses, on Instagram stories, posting the trailers here and there, but we did not have a clear marketing strategy, sadly. So it was very interesting to hear what you had to say about this film, because now I'm thinking, we could have done that. We should have done that. And then also must knows. I just put this here for everyone to see that very important programs and things happening in the region that you should keep an eye for, especially if you're an indie filmmaker. Of course, Multi-Choice Talent Factory, which trained myself, Linda, Brian, and some other individuals. It's a full year program whereby they teach you all things filmmaking. We have the Great Lakes Creative Producers Lab, which this also I was a part of, and that's why I went to Ethiopia, whereby they workshop with you your project. So I have a project that I'm currently developing, and they workshop with you in terms of story, in terms of packaging it, and in terms of pitching it in festivals, institutions, to get things like funding, distributors, or even collaborators in the project. So this is like an extensive opportunity for you to sit with a project you have. Then we have Durban Film Mart, which has a variety of programs for different creatives, producers, screenwriters, directors. Specifically, also they're also focusing on a project basis. We have DocuBox, which offers grants from time to time for short films, documentaries, and fiction and documentaries. I'm not sure about features. We have Documentary Africa, which also does have grants from time to time, and also is also shedding a light on impact campaigns. We have international programs like Berlinale Talents. I think you can read more about this. But I do know that you also do get extensive trainings and opportunities to connect with filmmakers from around the world, and you get to be in Berlin for some time. And we have European Film Market Toolbox programs. There are a couple here. There's the distribution one that I did. There are also a couple more that also focus on project to project basis. But again, there are so many of these opportunities. You just have to research, put yourself out there, and take a bit of time to find them. But you should pay attention to these things, especially if you're an indie filmmaker, because once you go to another thing, it snowballs into another and into another and into another. So for instance, with Multi-Choice Talent Factory, I got the skills on how to do film production. I'm a producer now. Did a production, didn't really think about marketing. Now I went for, the distribution thing. Now, as I'm developing this project at the moment. It's something that I also have at the back of my mind, like, who is my audience? Who can jump in? What are the partners I'm looking for? At the end of the day, what would I want to achieve with this? And then, yeah. So with that being said, asante sana. Thank you for letting me talk your ears off. And that is my email. And I am also available on LinkedIn with my same name. And for the last 8 minutes we can have a quick Q&A.
Thank you,
We can have a
everybody.
quick.
Thank you very much. It's been very, very, very insightful. So, does anybody have any questions? Let's use this 7 minutes to say what we want to say. It could not be a question, it could be a suggestion, it could be you're adding on to whatever Bright has said. Anything we could talk about, or even what you've learned, your takeaways. Yes, everybody, you want to say something?
While you're thinking of that, I remembered I spoke. Oh, okay. Yes, hello. I don't know who's talking, but hello.
I had a conversation very well. And basically,
Yes.
I think I got something right. But my major concern it's in all your conversation that you had about marketing and everything. There's a lot of neglect of the young generation, or I can say the youths, participating in films, and I think also it's another big concern there that is minimizing as far as minimizing the film market as far as the film market in Africa, Uganda, East Africa, is concerned. So that was at least that was my major concern from all I had today. I never heard about anything like the involvement of the youths into everything that you do.
Into everything you do as a filmmaker, or as, I'm very confused.
No, as you plan about the film market and everything, I think it's my concern. Are the youth part of the market, and because there's no involvement, like whole discussion, nothing to engage like the young generation, such.
There was no discussion on engaging the young generation in consuming the content. Can someone help me? I think I'm not getting the question.
And even the content, even basically the content that was being shared, most of it's now adult content, and there's nothing that is engaging like the young generation. You understand?
Oh, I think I'm trying to get what Joshua is saying, but I think we're totally talking from a point of view that we are the youths, because we are youths ourselves. So what we're talking about
Yeah, I was like,
is totally from our perspective.
I was like, wait a minute, guys. Do I need to look at the mirror? Like, have I aged? But what I would say, you did not introduce yourself, but what I would say is, I would reiterate what I said, that with every project has different needs. And let's say, for the projects we have discussed today, sadly, maybe they did not tackle on the youth matters you expected, but each project has its different needs, there's different ways you could fund it, market it, and distribute it, depending on what's the content itself. Because again, I would reiterate that there's a lot of content out there that, for as a filmmaker moving forward, you really need to be intentional with how you're putting your work out there. And also, how many are we? We're 11 now. My email is right there. Feel
Eva Bright,
free to.
we are more than 11. We have over 20, close to 20 people on YouTube. They're following up.
They can see my email?
Yes, they can see your email. So we're looking at over 30 people joining in at this moment. But also, maybe to add to what you're talking about with Joshua, Asimwe. Someone was unmuted.
Yes.
Oh, to add to what you were asking, I feel like we should not limit ourselves that we are young people. There's a limit at which we should stop. We should not market as far as this, because looking at the people that are speaking today, most of us are below the age of 26. So we do not limit ourselves to a particular age. Like if we are 25, we should stop marketing at this point. We are equally competing with people who have been in industry for as many years. We are not going to say I've been in industry for 3 years, therefore I'm going to limit my knowledge to 3 years. Let's be open-minded. Let's be equally competitive with what industry standards are.
And then maybe
Joshua, I understand that.
One thing I would also add, maybe is, Joshua, your passion is with youth. So that's a good thing to already know in the beginning, because now since it's in the back of your head, of your mind, you'd be very intentional with the projects you're choosing. Do they address youth issues? how would you market it to youth, etc. So it's very good, that that is something you're very passionate of. But you're passionate about, sorry, English is finishing, passionate about, but it could also
My,
sadly,
my,
yeah.
my major concern My major concern is that it's not about like leaving out a particular age group, but it's like most of the times with the film writers, with the film directors, we tend to leave out the also with the young generation who are into the film industry. We tend to leave out the youth problems, and then we focus on our parents and the old age problems. So that's where my focus is.
Mm-hmm. It's great. Then now, as I said, you know what content you're doing. And
Everbright, can I come in?
yes, Kabagoza.
Okay. So Joshua Asimwe, I understand you're from Uganda, right?
I've asked for 10 more minutes, by the way, so that in case anyone else has questions
It's
apart
okay.
from
It's all right,
Joshua.
Everbright. 10 more.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joshua, I think I try to understand your concern. You felt like the discussion was too much, maybe towards the side of, can I say, the already filmmakers in the industry, and then it left out the emerging filmmakers. How do they start out to market their films? How do they start out to distribute their films? So to answer that, I feel like whatever everybody has discussed, it is something that cuts across. It doesn't matter if you're starting out, you are emerging, or you are already in the industry. The strategy for marketing films, the strategy for making films, the strategy for distributing your film has no level of entry. It's all about it's all about what technique or how best can you sell your film, how best can you sell your product, how best can you distribute it. And I think she said earlier on that when they distributed their film, that is Deadbeat, it sort of happened that she has even got to learn, because she was a producer, she has got to learn that they distributed the film at the wrong time. Yeah, because in the discussion, we got to realize that the best time to distribute that film would even have been this month, the main awareness month, whereby the society is leaning too much into the men and how they have struggled with life. So I don't want you to limit yourself, Joshua, because you felt like the discussion was too much of the experienced filmmakers, and then it left out the youth. No, whatever has been discussed, mind you, Everbright, I think, is about 24 or 25. These are young people, but they have used these strategies to sell out whatever they have sold out. So they're just simply coming to share with us how they have been able maybe to use these techniques, just for us to see how best we can do it. And I also think Fred is here saying that what maybe Joshua can mean is that the storyline we discuss in scripts doesn't speak to the youth. Yeah, I think also that could also be an issue. Yeah, but the other thing, again, it goes back to the stories we are telling. Guys, the stories we are telling are different. Joshua may have a story of maybe of a teen from Uganda who is a youth who's trying to struggle with ABCD. That is different from a story that Everbright has from Tanzania, because she's from Tanzania. The issues that are in Uganda, much as we're all from East Africa, people from Nigeria, South Africa, and the rest, we could have the same issues, but the demographics we are in don't make us tell the same stories. Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to clear about. Maybe I don't know if that helps you, Joshua. You could help us in the chat and see if we can help you.
Also, to remind Joshua that we have material right from the start of Film Chat. We have material about script. Why are you the right person to tell the story you're telling? Why are you telling that story? What story are you telling? Up to cinematography, directing. All the material is in the group. If you join the group later on, even if it's not you, Joshua, or any other person, remind us to forward back all the materials that we discussed along the way.
Yeah. I would have also loved to, again, as I mentioned, that these are things, every experience is unique. And the best teacher, guys, I'm not going to lie to you, is experience. That means you learn by doing it. So it's after we did our Shagala Bagala work with Deadbeat there. Hey, wait, this is recorded after we did our work with Deadbeat. We discovered there are ways we could have, done a better job. And it's something I'm trying to implement in my current project that unfortunately I cannot share details about. Maybe if Kamugoza invites me same time next year, I would have a better case study. Wink, wink. But yeah, Hakuz, you have something to say. Hakuz, you have 6 minutes.
All right, yeah. So it means just a question.
Yes.
Yeah. So, for example, I've heard that your movie was commissioned, and you start from the script and what. So, for example, like I've done a production. Here I'm from Zambia. I've done a production. It's like it was well done, and everything was shot and done, just ready to distribute it. What would be the first step, like, to take it to Showmax, like you did?
You want to take your film to Showmax?
Yes.
If my understanding is the same, you've already shot everything. I'm not sure
Yes,
how.
it's done.
Okay, I'm not sure how Showmax in Zambia works. I'm speaking about Showmax in Kenya and Tanzania. I know they take on projects from development so that they can have a bit more creative control. So maybe Showmax is not the. I don't know if they take on already shot projects from Zambia. I don't know. I honestly wouldn't. I'm not in the position to answer that question. However, other alternative, if it's something you have shot already and you have edited, and you would be interested in having discussions on how to distribute it or screen it, feel free to shoot me an email with specific details about this particular project, and then we can pick it up from there. My email, I believe, is still displayed here, but with Showmax, I really can't say.
All right, thank you. I'll do so.
Okay.
Anybody else? Brian has put up links for the groups, for the WhatsApp groups that we have for film chats. Even though this is our second last episode of film chats, our groups are going to continue being open to discussion. So this is the link to join the groups, those who are not in the group chat. Is there anybody else with a question? Or takeaways, submissions, anything, suggestions? Fred is saying he once did a production and they worked backwards. It was a stage play though. They staged it without targeting a specific audience. After the show, they let the audience speak to a counselor. Those who stayed became the target. And then they helped them sell the tickets. Oh, that's a good strategy.
That's a good strategy. Can it be done? I honestly think these days I cannot guarantee what can be done, but we can know if it works by trying. I mean, it worked for you. Mandingo, are you here? It was a stage play about bad relationships. Is Mandingo still in the chat? I hope he is. Because no, he has left. But yeah, I honestly feel like we can get as creative as we can with how we market and distribute our films, to be honest. So yeah, people had opinions and learned from the counselor 100%, and they helped you sell tickets. Hey, where was this play? curious. Where did, like, in which area, so that I come there? It's looking like the people there are very willing to. Okay. Okay. I was like, hey, if it's in Uganda, I'm coming. Yeah, people will sell tickets for you. But yeah, you can get creative and honestly apply it to your film and see if it works. I mean, you already have a track record of it. And the other thing, guys, audacity. Do not be shy to try and fail. And, pick up what you learned and try on the next thing. Projects are different, times are changing, people are changing. So don't limit yourself. Inshallah, you do the same in Uganda 2027. Okay, guys, it's been a pleasure. I really do appreciate you taking the time to let me talk your ears off. I really appreciate for everyone who came in this Zoom meeting, is on YouTube, people who would watch this later. Thank you very, very much. Thank you for letting me share what I have with you. Youth have, oh, okay. Asimwe Joshua has a last message, but yeah, I think I'll read it after. Thank you very much. Looking forward to the next session, Kabogoza, next year. Book
No,
me.
the next session is next week. The very last session is next year.
Oh,
I mean, you're invited.
about-
Please do come and join. We're going to talk about anything and everything that we've shared throughout this whole
Yes.
first season of the Film Church. You're invited, and we look forward to what next year has in stock for us. Of course, Film Chat is going to be bigger and it's going to be better. And we still invite you to be part of us, part of the next journey that we're going to take, and looking forward to having you there. And Everbright, thank you very much for today. We've learned quite a lot from what you've shared, and it's going to be online. It's a recorded show now. It's on YouTube. Let's remember to share it with our friends. Let's remember to always go back to it if there's anything that we need. Thank you, everybody that made it here for today's session. We appreciate you. We had over 20 people here. We had over 20 people as well on YouTube. Our averages were like 50, on average of 50. So you're talking to different people from different countries.
Yay!
Thank you very much, people.
Hey,
We appreciate each one of you for making it.
The pressure. Anywho, it was a pleasure. And then, bye-bye. Have a great evening.
That was from you, but we're going to have a word from Kabogoza and we'll close off.
Okay.
Yes. Kabogoza.
Thank you so much,
Can I switch
ladies. Yeah. You have
I was
something
asking if I
ever?
could switch. No, I'm saying, can I switch off my video now?
No, you can leave it, or you can switch it off. Yeah. Thank you so much, ladies.
Okay.
Special thanks to Everbright for investing in yourself to be able to share what you have shared at your young age. Being able to share this kind of experience, like even some people are confused if you're actually young, because to share this experience you've shared with us, it sort of means that you've invested yourself in this career. And so this is just to inspire some of us in the chat that, guys, it's not about your age, it's not about it's not about like where you're coming from. You can see this platform ever since we started in September. We've actually been able to impact close to 200 plus young African storytellers. Yeah, and these are storytellers coming from different parts of the continent, from Uganda, from Zambia. We've been hearing people here talking, and the figures are there. This is not something like we're trying to stage up. So you can see the power of cinema. Recently, we had Fred joining us all the way from Sweden. Yeah, he's Ugandan, but he has been able to join the sessions. He has been able to share his experience. He's a filmmaker. Yeah, but these are people who are passionate. These are people who are in diaspora, but they want to see the African continent really shining in this thing called cinema. So I just want to thank the people that are really, 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 really making it upon themselves to invest themselves into this thing called film. Yeah. You guys, Film Chat is not the only thing you can invest into yourself. You can invest in yourself in watching these videos on YouTube, any other videos that about filmmaking, attending workshops, really trying to make sure that you are ready for any opportunity that can come your way. Yeah. Once again, I want to thank my colleagues, Linda, Lewis, Oscar from Kenya, Linda's from Uganda, Senamaya Mabebe from Ethiopia. Yeah, these are the people that we started this baby with in September. We wanted to do it for 1 month. Yeah, but then we got to realize that actually it was not enough. So they have been able to make sure that we have these sessions every Thursday. We've not skipped any Thursday for now 14 Thursdays. Yeah, so if it was a university, this is a semester that we've captured. And we believe that every person who has been part of this session has been able to pick something. People have been specializing, people have been helping, people have been sharing ideas and visions to the creatives. It is really inspiring. And that is why we say that at the end of the session, this online session next week, we will have to be able to give these people certificates. Yeah, just to appreciate them. We're not saying these certificates maybe are helping to, are going to get you jobs or what. No, it's just a way to appreciate you for your time. We have had people who have been attending Float. There's Float Africa from Tanzania. That one has been one of the people that have attended every single session. We have Iran from UCU. She's actually a journalism student. I would request her to actually talk to us next week. They were able to shoot a film for their class. So, and she was a director of that film. So would want her to tell us her experience in the last session. How was the session? Her sessions helped her, and what does she expect now that she has started her journey as a director at her age? People like Fred Kalulanga. Yes, thank you so much for being part of the session. He's from Uganda. Hakuz Guanipa from Zambia. It is always good having you. Nzebenji, always being on a session. And also so many other people that maybe have not been able to finish a session with us. Like Linda said, in today's session, we've had close to 20 people in the chat. This is for the Zoom, about close to 20 people who bared with us when the network went off. I want to thank you. And then also people on YouTube have been contributing also close to that number. So I've roughly had about 50 people been tuned into this session, and others that will be able to see the recording after this. Yeah, so again, we want to thank each and every young filmmaker who is investing in himself or herself. That is what is going to make you the better filmmaker. Yeah, the name of the channel is called Brian Kabogoza Films. That is where we have had all the sessions. Yeah, I don't know why you're laughing, but that is the channel that actually has been sponsoring this film chat for a very long time. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone has anything to say, guys. This is the chance for you to say something. You have about 4 minutes. Anyone, you can unmute yourself and say something before we close off.
Brian, I want you to sponsor my film. Thanks. I've had you. Please sponsor. Send me money.
Guys, anyone apart from Everbright, anyone who has something to share before I hand over back to Linda? Anyone? All right. If there's nobody, I hand over back to Linda, who will close off the session for today.
I guess I'm the anyone. So thank you very much, Brian, for the information that you've shared as well. Guys, let's remember to join the group. Let's remember to share it. Let's remember to always tap on our friends. They shouldn't miss out on any information. Whatever we've learned, Linda, let's take it out
Linda,
there.
Can I say something I just forgotten?
Yes,
now,
please.
Something interesting about Film Chat. When we started out, we said it's about African filmmakers connecting. Now, the very first session we had, I was actually in Cape Town. I was in South Africa. Yeah, like I didn't even know that I would be there for that session. It was recorded, it was moderated, and that happened. About 2 other sessions, I was in Addis. Then there was a session when I was in Kenya. Now, guess what? The last session that we're going to have next week, I will not be in Uganda. Yeah. So again, it shows that the African mindset that we had said, the connectivity of it being African storytellers connecting borders and crossing borders is actually coming to pass. Yeah. If at all we said African storytellers, and actually I'm still in Uganda, Kampala, and that's where I've had the sessions, me as being one of the people that have been pushing this forward, then I think I would be lying to everyone. But if I'm able to move all these places, and not because of the film chat, but because of other opportunities, but I still make sure that I talk about film chat wherever it has been. So I wanted to just say that, just to add the point that God has been with us ever since we started. Yeah, thank you, Linda.
Thank you to Brian, and I wish you a very safe journey. Guys, let's remember also to look out for such opportunities. There are always a lot of grants. There are always a lot of calls, entries. Let's remember to always have our pitch decks ready, our proof of concepts ready. Let's always be prepared because the opportunities are out there, whether you're young, whether you're old. And that being said, it's exactly 1 minute. So to thank you very much, and also to lead us in our closing prayer. Is there anybody who would want to do that? Leading us in a closing prayer?
I would say Fred,
Let's remember
but I
ourselves
don't
for
know
prayer.
if he...
Joshua is praying for us. Yes, please.
All right, Father Lord Jesus Christ, thank you for this day. Thank you for a gift of life. Thank you for everything, Father, that you've brought to us at this moment. Thank you for the facilitators of these sessions that you have had for some time, for our month so far. Thank you for the energy, Lord, that you've enabled us to attend and at least learn something, Lord. May you help us and to be more creative and get fundings for our movies, and so that we can have something productive for our country, for the world, for everybody. Let's encounter with serve them with solutions to their challenges and what they go through. Lord Jesus Christ, give us a good night. Help us sleep well. Keep us safe through the night. In Jesus' name, I pray and I believe. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Joshua. For mine to yours, happy holidays. Bye-bye.